when I called it a hyperbolic function, he was like, what?
What? So you knew something he didn't know.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to record day 2 of parametric functions only because people are not here.
Not here.
There are some people here.
Sir, that's your
We're down to 3 people here.
That's your deal breaker, right? People who skip
Wait, sir,
calculus.
can we angle the TV this way since all of your things are not true?
Imagine there's 3 people here.
All right. I just got done talking about, this is a problem we ended up with the other day, and I want to share with you that look at the form of the answer that I put it in.
Standard form.
That was standard form. And if I was doing the math lab, I may not have automatically thought it had to be standard form. Because really a lot of forms are good.
They asked it in like the Cesarian equation, and I didn't know what it is, so I searched it up. And
Euclidean.
Basically standard form.
Euclidean equation. Is that what it said?
No, it was like, it started with a C.
Cartesian.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the
Oh, yeah, that's
Cartesian. Cartesian is another name for rectangular.
Yeah, sir, that's what I figured, because you told us what rectangular form was.
Yeah, it's another name. And the reason Cartesian, the plane that you plot points on is called a Cartesian plane. And it was named after a guy named Descartes.
Isn't he like a philosopher?
No, mathematician, Descartes. It looks like Descartes. And so he's the one that started plotting points on a graph, and now we call it a Cartesian plane.
Oh, that's a Cartesian.
That's a Cartesian.
Why don't we just call it
Well, a lot of people call them rectangular coordinates. I don't know why, except for the fact that maybe if you look at it, I see a whole bunch of rectangles on there. Right? All right. So back to notes. I wanted to wrap up finding parametric equations. Now, what we've done so far, we've already taken parametric, like, for instance, I'm going to put one practice problem here. If x equals to sine of theta and y equals to 4 cosine of theta, that is in parametric. It's, I don't have a page number on it. I'm at the top.
31.
Okay. If I gave you this set of parametric equations and asked you to turn them into Cartesian equation or rectangular equation, then what we had to do for this, remind me what we had to do. This was this.
Use a trig identity.
Had to use a trig identity. So this is already solved for sine.
Yeah.
This one I'll solve for cosine.
And I remember what it is.
Y over 4. Okay, you're going to help me out then, Tilia.
Yes.
So if sine of theta is x and cosine of theta is y over 4,
Yeah.
then what do I do now?
You have to square it to get the identity.
Because we're using x squared plus y squared
Equals 1.
equals to, well, y.
Oh, y.
Why is it equal to 1?
Why is it equal to 1?
Yeah, because,
Circles?
no, because of this identity. Sine squared
Oh, yeah.
plus cosine squared is equal to 1. So therefore, my x squared, but this is not a y. This is a y over 4. Why isn't it writing? Y over 4 squared equals to 1. Yes, so the rectangular equation in standard form is x squared plus y squared over 16 equals to 1. And that's how they would want the answer on My Math Lab.
Sir, do you have an extra paper? I wasn't here last time.
You just now that I'm working hard, you decided, hey, wait, I need a paper. Sure I do. Yeah, here it is. Some people, I sent it to you I sent you a message. I sent you a message that I sent you a copy of that on Google Classroom so you could print bigger slides if you want.
Of what?
Of that document. It looks better. And they even got to look at the computers if they wanted to. So anyway,
I
now,
like this PowerPoint format, sir.
do you?
No, I honestly like it a lot.
Oh, okay. Well, hold your opinion until a week or two and then tell me again.
Okay.
So this is parametric changed to rectangular. Now he says find parametric equations, which probably means he wants us to take rectangular and try to find parametric for him. And we kind of did that a little bit. Okay, so for instance, in this one, find a set of parametric equations for this rectangular equation called y equals x squared plus 1. But then he tells me something. He says, but let t equals to 2, is that plus or minus?
Minus.
2 minus. So t equals to 2 minus x. This little thing that I circled is arbitrary. He could have said anything. He could have said, let t equals to x. Let t equals to x squared. Let t equals to x minus 5. It really doesn't matter. But in this particular problem, for some reason, he has a reason of saying, let t start out like this. Okay? So if you already have a y equals x squared plus 1, and he tells you, let t equals to this, well, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this here, and I'm going to solve it for x. That way, when I get done solving it for x, I can then plug this in up into this, and I'll have an equation of y that has x, it'll have y, x, it'll have t's in there. Okay? So let's see, solve that for x. Would that be t minus 2 equals negative x? Flip all the signs.
T over 2.
Oh, it's t over 2.
Really? No, that's so dumb.
Oh, I'm looking at, he said let t equals 2 minus x. I want to solve that for x. So I moved the 2 over. Oh, wait, did I mess up?
Yes.
That's what you're telling me. It was t minus 2 equals to negative x. Thank you. So now I don't want negative x. So I'm going to flip that to positive, flip that to negative, and I'll just flip them around. 2 minus t now equals to x. And let's see if he got the same thing. He left it as 2 minus t. Oh, switch the t and the x. What did he do?
No, you did it right, sir.
Well, he just switched the t and the x.
Yeah.
Is that wrong?
It's not what, well, it's not what I was thinking to do. And rewrite the by switching t and x. Well, I mean, that's no different than saying let x equals to t then. You're just switching the t and the x. But, yeah. I'm trying to figure out how much different does that change my answer.
Yeah, it says right here, switch the rows of the
Yeah, he just switched them.
Parameter and the other variable. Why do I always want to say parameter?
I know, I've heard you say that before.
And I say like,
So let's take my y equals 2. Instead of x, he wrote it as
y.
2 minus x, right?
Yes.
So I got to put 2 minus x in parentheses. I'm going to add a 1.
No, 2 minus t.
I mean, that's what 2 minus t. Jeez.
Plus
And now I gotta solve this all out. So square that. Can you square it without looking at the answer? 2 minus t times 2 minus t?
No, I'm gonna look at the answers.
No, you can do it. Look
I
at
know I can, but I'm
2 times 2 is 4.
Yeah.
2 times a negative t is a negative 2t. Double it. Negative 4t. Negative t times negative t is
Negative t squared.
plus t squared. And then I have a plus 1. What do you think I do with the plus 1?
You just,
Add it to the
yeah.
4. So y equals 5 minus 4t plus t squared. Now, there's my parametric one thing that has y with t's in it. Where's the one with the x with t's in it?
What do you mean?
Well, you need 2 of them, para,
Oh, yes. Oh, can't you just take the one that you...
that he gave you, right?
Just plug it in?
Yeah, he said, let t equals 2 minus x,
Yes.
right? When he said let t equals 2 minus x, then just like I told you a minute ago, then x is actually equal to, I did it over there somewhere. I did the work somewhere. 2 minus x?
Yes. Wait.
No, I did the work. It was 2 minus t.
Yes.
Oh, isn't that kind of silly? It's kind of the same switching. 2 minus, it works out the same way. So there's my y of t. There's my x of t. So that's changing it. Now, most of the time, that arbitrary thing, the easiest thing is to just make x equals to t. Let t equals to x. That's the easiest thing. Just switch it. Don't make it fancy, but our text, before we finish it. The original equation was a parabola. Do you agree?
Yes.
Shouldn't parametric be looking like a parabola?
Yes, it is.
It is?
Like a sideways parabola.
Word?
Yeah, don't trust me.
Oh, look it's an x squared. You made me think it was a y squared.
I thought it was.
It's an x squared. Is out of this world. All right, so we're gonna.
This is from the book,
This is from that textbook. Yeah,
the one online.
and you guys really should get comfortable with it because you'll learn more
I can't
than
open it. My laptop won't let me open the
what kind of
desktop.
computer.
It's a Mac.
You have
Should-
to get the Google.
It's
the
yeah.
Google.
Use
It
Google
says
Chrome.
It says it blocks pop-ups, and I tried to
Oh no, you
fix
have
that,
you have to tell it to.
and I
Just click
fixed
eggs.
it.
That's what I do.
I fixed it, but it just shows a little pop-up sign, but nothing pops up.
Click it again and say allow always.
Okay.
Sometimes you've got to. You allowed it one time and it worked one time, right?
Yeah, probably.
You got to tell it to always allow from that website. All right, let's do another one. Wait, no way. That's the same problem we just did. All right, let's check to see if we're right. Those are the answers we had, right? Now he says sketch it. Okay, so that's a review from your homework, or it should be. I don't think the computer made you sketch, did it?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, how do we sketch this?
Plug it in.
Got to make a table, right?
Oh.
You got X's and T's, but you can only graph X. You can only graph X's and Y's. You can't graph T because T is like time, right? So we'll use T, but then we're going to find out what X and Y have to be. So where do you want to start your graphing at T? Unless he gave you a reason. Did he give you any reasons for this? Yes, no, he didn't. Yes, he did. He said 0 through 3 is my what?
Your T.
Is my T.
So start it.
So start at 0. You can use any T's you want, but I'll do 1 and I'll do a 2 and a 3. That'll give me enough. If I plug in a 0 for X, I hope that gives me a 2. If I plug in a 0 for the Y equation, Adam, if T is 0, then that's 0 squared. 4 times 0. That's all 0. What's left? It's a 5, isn't it? 5 minus 0 plus 0, 5.
Yes.
Now I got to plug in a 1. 2 minus 1, 1. All right, now this is going to be a little harder. I'm going to have to write it down. I'm not that smart.
It's 2.
Y equals 5 minus 8 plus 4.
Why would it be 8?
4 times 2. Oh, 4 times 1. See, 4. Okay, so how much is it? Let me do it again. 5 minus 4 plus 1. It is 2. Thank you. And when you plug in the 2, what do you get? That's what I was just doing a second ago. You get
For X.
you get a 0 for the X and the Y?
For the Y. I did not do it yet.
Oh, okay. Plugging in a 2. Plugging in a 2.
1, I think.
5 minus 8 is a negative 3. Negative 3 plus 4. A 1. You're right.
See, I can do math.
You're good. You're good. Adam, tell me what the 3 is going to give me. Come on, Adam, with the X.
Where
Right here. If T is equal to 3.
T is equal to 3.
T is equal to 3. We listed them all. 2 minus 3.
Oh, negative 1.
Okay. And Talia, give me the Y. You get the hard one. 5
5
minus 12.
plus like 9.
Like 9.
So 9, 12, wait. 2.
Do the 9 and 5 first. Add those.
So that's negative 3
Okay.
and that's 2, right?
Negative 3. This is negative 3.
No. 12 and 9 is negative 3.
That's yeah, 12, negative 12 and that's negative 3, and 5 minus 3 is 2. Yes, okay. Is it?
Yeah. Okay, see?
Do you agree,
9,
Sandy?
10, 11,
Yes,
12.
I put 2.
And then 5 minus
Okay, so
3.
let's now remember I'm going to show you something. For why am I sideways parabola? That's fine because if the y is being squared, which it was, that's opening to the left or right.
Yeah.
So,
So
but
opening to-
I'm not going to get all of it, am I?
No.
because the domain was restricted to between 0 and 3. So when I graph it, I got 2, 5.
It's in the next slide.
I got 1, 2. I got 0, 1. And I got a negative 1.
It's on the next slide, like drawn out.
Wait, what happened?
You don't have to
Are-
draw it, it's already drawn.
No, I know that, but I want to make sure I'm getting it right.
Oh, yeah, the numbers.
Is that
match.
order pair, negative 1, 2?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
The numbers match. They're also on the next slide.
But why is that over here? Negative 1, 2's up here. That's not the parabola.
Oh, it's on the next slide.
I know, but I think whoever gave me those negative 1, 2, it's not right.
But it is
Yeah,
negative
it
1
is.
though.
It is
Because 2
because
minus 3 is negative
look at the next slide. It's
I will.
1. 2.
Here, I took you at, that's why I was confused. It's not opening that way. All right. So where's the vertex in this problem? 0, 5, 0 or 2, 5 was up here. 1, 2 is here. 0, 1 is here. Okay, it's doing this. I went 1, 0 anyway. That was wrong. It does this, right?
Yes.
Okay. It opened. I did 2 things wrong.
Why?
Tell me. Okay, you found the first one.
continued the
Thank
T
you.
When you weren't supposed to.
Thank you. I wasn't supposed to. It only goes. It doesn't go forever. It does. Let's see. If t goes from 0 to 3, then I have to start only x is 2. X is 2.
Yes.
1, 0. So which way am I going to go? I'm going to look at the points too.
See, they're right.
Negative 1, 2, 1, 2.
Oh, it opens up.
Oh, that's why you were
I
telling me
said
it opens to the
sideways.
right, and I was thinking it was y squared.
I was thinking about that.
Up. Silly us.
So did you draw
Oh,
arrows on
I forgot.
What do you mean, sir?
Well, he graphed
Oh,
all.
from the T.
Look at, he graphed them both here. Take a look. He graphed it both, but notice the arrows. He stopped at the. Here's the 0 or the. What x was that? 2, 2,
It's 2. It was supposed to be 2 5.
2, 5. Okay, he didn't put it there. So 2, 5 going all the way. Then he stopped the arrow here. Right? He stopped it here.
Yes.
That was all that we have with parametric. But with rectangular, we have all of it, right? But parametric was only from here to here. Actually, t can go higher. So which of those would go on forever? No, he stopped it at 2 and 3. He stopped it between 0 and 3. So no, he should have stopped them both here for parametric. And he should have arrows doing this.
On the My Math Lab, there was actually a question where it was like, they'll give you the graph and they'll be like, what did he do? Did he show the entire graph? Did he show t from this point to this point? T
Okay.
From this point to this point? And you had to like,
Oh, so he's trying to hit home about the direction, where it starts and where it's supposed to end.
yeah. So like, let's
I-
say like it shows like an entire graph. then
That's
you have to,
important.
like, it shows the entire graph. Like,
Because
all-
parametric is all about something moving. And when something's moving, it has a starting and it has an end. And some things go on forever. He could have went from 0 to infinity, and then what would happen is my arrows would keep on going. If I went 0 to infinity, I would have arrows going all the way, starting here. And that is a possibility. Not in this problem, though. All right? Example 5. Find a set of parametric equations for this rectangular equation, y equals 2 over x squared minus 1. He says, given t equals the square root of x, then sketch it. Okay, so I'm going to take this t equals the square root of x. I'm going to switch the x and the t around and get x equals to square root of t. That's my first step. I'm going to take that, I'm going to plug it into the x of my rectangular equation, and that looks like this. Y equals to 2 over,
But why is it positive and not negative?
I didn't square root both sides. You only get plus and negative.
No, sorry, I'm on the y.
Oh, not done. Well, because y is nothing but y equals 2 over that. It's a rational functions of some sort.
No, but no, because I plugged in the square root of t.
Okay, I'm gonna do it right now. Square root of t squared
They cancel.
minus 1. Well, it doesn't cancel. What cancels?
The square root.
Yeah.
And then squared.
Yeah,
So
so
you get left with
t minus 1.
But why did they put t plus
Where?
in the next problem?
Oh, I don't know. Good question. I'll go look.
But I don't
Could be a typo.
But then if it's a typo, why did they put it on both? The table and the thing.
Because the
In
person who,
book?
he could have done one wrong and just kept going wrong. And does the graph match up with, well, why don't we just do it ourselves and see how different it is? And I wonder if, remember that program I showed you?
Yes,
The,
pair.
what's it called?
The pair thing, the pair.
No, I typed Wolfram.
Oh, yes.
I wonder if Wolfram will graph this, will give me parametrics.
Do it.
Let's try it, but let's finish what we think first, okay? So there's my x of t equation right here. Here's my y of t equation. I'll make my table, t's, x's, and y's. And I already wrote over my points. So Adam, read me all my t's that he said I can use. He has let t equal to, right up here where I scribbled on it. Right up here.
Oh, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4.
0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that all he's using? All right. So if I'm correct, what's the square root of 0?
0,
0.
And then what is 2 divided by 0 minus 1?
1.
No.
Yeah, it is.
2 divided by 0 minus 1 would be a negative 2.
Whoa, sorry.
It's okay. Let's plug in a 1. Square root of 1. Let's do all the x's first. Square root of 1.
No, sir, it's not a negative 2, isn't it just a 2? But I'm kind of dumb, so never mind.
There's a negative right here. According to us, we have a negative, not a plus. Remember, we already had the discussion that they changed it to a plus for some reason? I think it's a
Yes,
mistake.
sir, it flipped it. I graphed it right now, it flipped it.
Oh, you have all the x's now? 0, 1, square root of 2, square root of 3, and a 2?
Wait. You know what, I don't know, sir. I'm lost.
Okay, well, I'm just plugging into this, square root of t. Square root of 0, square root of 1, square root of 2, I don't know. Square root of 3, I don't know. Square root of 4 is 2. Now I'm going to plug it into 2 divided by t minus 1. So uh-oh. What happens when I plug in the 1? I know why he changed the sign. I think he made an error in the problem because there's a problem right here. What's 1 minus 1?
Like 0.
Zero.
It's undefined there.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that's his problem. So what I want to do is, let me graph the rectangular equation just for fun.
I already graphed.
2 over x squared minus 1. All right, back to recording. We just graphed this equation and we got a beautiful equation. We just had to make sure that we took t in our window. T went from 0 to 25. It was beautiful. I was so happy. He works out some more gobbledygook. Here's an example of that motion. I guess I could have brought this to you. Look at. See how it's spinning? The wheel's spinning, rolling. The points that's not smooth. Between these points, he says, and let's see, do I need anything else? Oh, but he's talking about between these points, the cycloid is called smooth.
What are you reading that?
The next slide over, finding parametric equations.
Oh, I
I
found it.
see.
Yeah, so he did a generic thing. He's talking about between those points, those cusps, The smoothest curve. Why does he have to tell us that? Because here's the definition of a smooth curve. A curve C is represented by x of f of t and y is equal to g of t on an interval called I is called smooth, where f prime and g prime are continuous on the interval and not simultaneously zero. In other words, f prime and g prime can't be zero at the same time, because what's going to happen, I'm going to give you the definition of the derivative. The derivative of a parametric, when you have x of t equals something and y of t, it popped out, or it's just lagging? Oh. Fabulous. Wait, maybe not. What time is it? What time is it? Okay. Huh?
Do we have another paper or no?
Have another what?
It's 3:36 p.m.
Yikes.
Thanks, I think. Why are you listening to me? You know, it's funny, you ask Alexa, Alexa, are you listening to me? And Alexa will answer back.
Yes.
No, only when you use the wake up word.
Oh, like Alexa.
So then you ask Alexa, Alexa, what's the wake up word? Well, it can be whatever word you want to use, like Alexa or robot or computer or. I said, oh my God. So it has to be listening to hear the wake up word. I guess what they're saying, it's not recording when you haven't used the wake up word. All right. Do I want to give you?
How about we work on our homework?
Go for it then.
You help me?
It's still open. Well, you got Sandy's already. What was your grade, Sandy? I had asked you earlier.
I got a 91.
So now it becomes 101. You help Talia, I'll give you 121.
Yeah, so
Okay. Wait, or sir, can I say
your
not
laptop?
121, but 5 points on a test?
Do you have your
Deal.
laptop?
Okay.
Or do you need
Deal.
No, I have my laptop, but I already finished it, so I don't need to.
She just got to help,
Yeah.
but she did them all.
Okay, yay.
I'll help you.
Yay, because
Sure,
this morning I was really stressed.
Wait, sir, I'm
about-
gonna text you about it, so
That way it's forever in print.
it's forever.
You know what kids did for this last semester? In the other classes, if they are going to get them points for something, they have to write it on the lecture paper that we're on, circle it, a date, in our little conversation. At the end of the 9 weeks, they send me their pictures.
Sir, last time I had a point. I had that one point.
I gave you that point
I know.
as a big, huge point.
I know, I'm so gonna pass. Like, not even kidding, like, I was like, no, like, I was
You know what though? I'll help. Hey, I made the deal. When I say out loud, if you pass the final test, you'll pass the 9 weeks for sure. Okay. I make that deal, and I'll try hard to see if I can get it to pass the semester. I help a lot of people every year, and nobody ever says thank you. And I had a girl stop yesterday after class,
Yeah. And what did you say?
and she doesn't talk to me a whole lot. And she looked at me, and this is what her exact words were: "Sir, when my phone beeped during Christmas break, and I looked at it, I cried."
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, when I saw your exam, I cried because you passed the exam." You know.
Exposed her, who is she?
Sir, there's only two
Sir,
people here.
yeah, sir.
What do you?
And we're
what
not
are you
gossip
small-
girls.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
I'm not.
You are? I'm not a gossip girl? No, I'm not. I don't even have friends. Like, I
Well,
don't
if
have
it's a
friends.
junior, we won't even know her.
Spill
I
the
can't
tea.
say it.
Sir, I'm not a
Because
gossip
then you'll
girl.
know that she was
So then
struggling.
that would be really
Sir,
mean to me
so
because
I
I'm not a gossip
struggled,
girl.
and I told everyone.
I
Oh,
know,
yeah,
but
sir.
And people didn't believe me, but I was like, it's because I was
yeah, but see,
there.
most people when they see
Sir, I'll
you,
find her. I'll become her
you have a
friend.
reputation as being one of the smartest kids.
Okay,
in the
no,
class.
No, not that.
You do.
But working hard, yes. Not the smartest.
That is the second word they say. Smart and always working hard.
Okay.
So they put that in there. You are smart. Both you and your sister were very smart. I would love to have a whole class of you and your sister.
I don't know if you have my little sister. Cassidy?
Oh, I know she's around. I see her name on some list, but
It's because, I don't know.
you brought her in once or no?
No, yes, we did. It was all three of us. Me, Phil, and Cassidy.
But I don't remember what she looked like. She looks more like your
She
sister.
looks more like Felicity.
Yeah.
We all look different.
Yeah.
I look Filipino. I think Cassie looks Chinese. I think Felicity looks.
Well, Felicity, I thought she was Chinese.
Yeah, actually, I see Felicity looking more Chinese. I think Cassie looks more like Japanese. She has a very V-shaped face. Yeah, it's weird. We don't look like siblings, and my younger ones, we don't look like siblings.
Have you watched The Bachelor? The Bachelor.
But I got upset because when I
I
left.
haven't watched it.
No, it's
But
the
is it
first
good?
episode was 3 hours long.
Oh, that's good. I like to watch.
No, I don't have time. I only got through like 45
No,
minutes.
sir, but it's because I skipped through a lot of unnecessary stuff. Like I always do that. That's why nobody likes watching movies with me.
Yeah, but
Really?
'Cause
No,
like,
I skip all the boring stuff.
Yeah,
Because I
like
can't
during
do
that
the
means
song?
most of it is unnecessary stuff on the first. Things to be like it was very funny.
Okay, yeah, like some of that I'm like,
This
oh.
one girl comes in and she has a microphone and she's a flight attendant. Well, you know, this guy is a pilot, right? So she thought she'd impress him by her skills of a flight attendant. And she starts walking and she goes, yeah, at least I'm unique because I was a flight attendant. Then
And
they
there's
show,
like a bunch.
then they show 3 or 4 clips of other flight attendants. And then
Oh,
she
like
actually
the girl
hears her
that
outside and
pretended
she
to be
goes,
Australian?
they goes, wait, is she a flight attendant too? And then all of a sudden she goes, well, I guess I thought I was the only, there's like 3 or 4 of them that are flight attendants.
It's because it's funny because they try so hard.
Yeah, they do.
They do try so hard.
Then one of them actually came in flying on a plane, on a little kid's toy plane.
Oh, I think I saw that.
Stupid.
Hi, sir.
Oh, okay. All right, help her get her 5 points for the test.
Alright. I'll help it.
Okay, it's back on, so are you gonna do it? If I go to your settings and change it to later today?
What?
The assignment,
I don't know where it is.
It's on.
My Math Lab.
Yeah.
Where most of your assignments have been. Your assignments have come from My Math Lab and Cons.
Really?
Yeah, that's what it's come for all semester.
Little calendar.
I'm so tired.
Wait, sir, did you change it yet?
I changed it to do it 4 o'clock.
It's not showing.
It's already like this.
What's my calendar?
Okay,
Can you open it up a little more?
are you gonna do it?
Yeah, like I don't have anything today.
I thought it was that, let me look. I don't have anything. She's funny.
Yeah, today is like a free day maybe. But if I have homework, like I'll book it with this homework.
Oh yeah, it's that one, the
I bet you can.
parametrics.
Yeah, it says due at 3 p.m. So it's not.
Oh! Then it was changed, but I must have hit the wrong,
But it,
yeah. Edit. Settings.
Today was an interesting day for me, sir.
All right, so what time, Talia? I'm opening up for, let's do the whole class.
Sir, do at midnight
You
because
don't like
for the whole class,
Yeah.
BPA, you
Obviously.
really don't get out till like 7 or 8
All right,
p.m.
What happened to Memorial?
So midnight.
But do they deserve extra time?
Well, probably not, but at the same time, we also don't want failing kids.
no.
Oh,
Sir, so did
that would be 12 a.m.
12 a.m.
No,
was that like maybe?
so I gotta do 11:59 p.m.
Why?
to get midnight.
It's cooler.
Alright.
It has.
Well, I'll do it like as soon as I get home.
All right, 11:59 p.m. That's almost midnight. And yeah, it's still 3 attempts.
Which one is it? I'm not gonna hold because that one's saved it.
And what I'll do is
Sir, I don't.
let me convert that file to a video and send it to my YouTube and send the link to the
that the back
BPA
of
kids.
your phone?
Yeah.
Holy crap, what is that?
Don't
It looks pretty though.
I know. The camera isn't affected though.
Sir, it doesn't open still.
Refresh.
I already did like
It doesn't look pretty. It looks bad. It is bad.
Let me get started. I'll go look again.
No, sir, it says 3. Did you
Yeah.
click enter on yours? I'm just
Yeah.
like a mean bro, like
Yeah.
like I'm not.
Well, maybe not. Maybe look again.
Yeah, because it only says 3 p.m. and I did it like later.
Okay, hold on. You're right. I gotta hit one more button.
See?
Yeah, I
It
can
was
hit
such a
save
good
and
day for
assign.
me.
Huh?
I did hit save in a second. Oh, I
But-
cheated. It's an error. I put 11. I
AM?
put 1:1590 p.m.
1159.
Oh, I see that how that doesn't work.
I don't know why he's being so picky.
You have to be for me so picky.
Yikes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Gee, flowers.
Oh, yikes.
Sir, you like Chihuahua?
I love chihuahuas.
Don't you have one?
Yes.
You have a Chihuahua?
Yes.
I hate Chihuahua.
Okay.
No, they're so sweet. They're also vicious too. But
Don't you have
yeah, they're cats.
So you know what I want? A pig.
No, you
I
don't.
want a pig too.
No, you don't. Unless you're gonna eat it.
Disgusting.
No, I want a pig.
Sir,
as a
I saw
pet,
this
like
Twitter
this mini
page with a
pigs.
bunch of cute pigs and I really like it.
Pigs are so smart.
Look, I have a
These are
picture.
so.
I have a picture.
You just have to keep them in AC like forever because